The Price of Devotion, a Kardor and Aelyah vignette, The Fall of Gumus, Part 1.
The last demon died badly. It staggered backward beneath Arcane's final strike, black blood spilling across the shattered stones beneath its feet. For an instant the creature remained standing, its misshapen mouth working soundlessly, as though refusing to accept that something born of the abyss could die upon mortal soil. Then it collapsed. Silence followed. Not true silence. There was still the distant rumble of the portals. There was the crackle of infernal fire consuming the bodies of fallen devils. Somewhere among the broken stones, something wounded gave a final wet gasp and became still. Drea lowered her hands. The remnants of arcane energy crawled between her fingers like fading blue lightning. Arcane leaned heavily upon his weapon and surveyed the battlefield. Faniel stood several paces behind them, blood streaking one side of her face, her breathing slow and controlled. And Gumus. Gumus stared ahead. They had reached them. After everything. After the siphons, after the dragon, and after his death. After Horus Evening Star had somehow called him back from whatever darkness had claimed him. After years of searching. They had finally reached Aelyah Silverleaf and Kardor Old Algar, and Gumus could barely breathe. They stood perhaps 100 yards away. Kardor was the easier of the two to recognize, though little remained of the creature Gumus had imagined from the stories. The legendary champion of Bahamut seemed almost fused with the enormous structure surrounding him. Draconic scales covered much of his body. Great veins of golden light pulsed beneath them, traveling outward from his chest into the runes carved into the stones around him. Every few seconds, his body trembled. Yet he remained standing. Beyond him was the first portal. It rose hundreds of feet into the darkened sky. And beyond it, the abyss. Gumus could see them, thousands, perhaps tens of thousands. Demons crowded beyond the barrier like insects against glass. Claws, wings, horns, teeth. Things too large to have names. It was too terrible to belong in any sane world. Only the barrier held them back. And Kardor was part of that barrier. Then Gumus looked toward the second portal. Aelyah. For years Gumus had imagined this moment. He had imagined kneeling. He had imagined words. He had imagined the pride he might feel when Aelyah finally saw what his paladin had become. Instead, Gumus could only stare. Aelyah Silverleaf stood within a lattice of silver light, his arms extended slightly from his sides. Threads of magical energy passed through his body and disappeared into the enormous portal behind him. His eyes were closed. His face was calm. But the exhaustion was unmistakable. For decades, Aelyah and Kardor had stood here, holding back the end of the world. Gumus stepped forward. Aelyah! Nothing. He walked faster. Aelyah! Drea followed.
Gumus, wait.
He barely heard her. He reached the edge of the silver lattice. The instant his hand approached it, power erupted. Gumus was thrown backward. He struck the ground hard. Drea rushed toward him. I'm fine. He pushed himself up. His eyes never left Aelyah. Danielle approached the lattice more carefully, studied the runes, then Kardor, then the portals. Her expression darkened. What is it? Arcane asked. Faniel did not answer immediately. She knelt and placed one hand against the earth. For several moments, her eyes remained closed. Finally, she whispered,
They are not guarding the spell.
Gumus looked at her. What?
They are the spell.
No one spoke. Faniel rose.
Their life force is woven into the containment, their magic, their souls, perhaps. I don't know.
Then unweave it, Gumus said. Faniel looked at him.
I don't know how.
Drea stepped closer.
There has to be a way. There may be.
Then find it. Fanhiel's expression hardened.
I said I don't know how.
Gumus looked back toward Aelyah. They had found him. They had crossed half of Faerun, fought devils, fought demons, destroyed infernal machines. He had died, and they had arrived only to discover that they could do nothing. Then came the sound of glass touching wood, a tiny sound, almost polite. Everyone turned. There was now a table standing in the center of the battlefield. It had not been there a moment before. Dark polished wood, 6 chairs, crystal goblets, a silver tray holding bread, fruit and cheese, and a decanter filled with deep crimson wine. A man sat at the head of the table, perfectly dressed, perfectly composed. Not a speck of blood stained his clothing. He lifted his glass.
Congratulations.
Gumus felt every muscle in his body tighten. Drea raised her hands. Magic immediately gathered around her fingers. Arcane drew his weapon. Fanhiel took one slow step forward. The stranger looked at them all, then smiled.
Asmodeus,
Fanhiel said. Smile widened slightly.
Lady Fanhiel.
His eyes passed over Arcane.
Arcane.
Then Drea.
Drea.
Finally, Gumus. There was the smallest pause.
Gumus.
Gumus felt something cold move through him. Asmodeus gestured toward the empty chairs.
Please.
No one moved.
You've had a difficult day.
Drea's voice was sharp.
what do you want?
Asmodeus took a sip of wine. At the moment, nothing.
Then leave?
He looked almost amused. You have traveled a very long way to reach this place, and now that you have arrived, you have discovered something unfortunate. His gaze drifted toward Aelyah and Kardor. You cannot free them. Gumus stepped forward. Can you? Asmodeus looked at him. Yes. One word, no hesitation. Gumus's heart seemed to stop. Fanhiel spoke immediately. At what price? Asmodeus placed his glass upon the table. Now there is a sensible question. Drea shook her head.
We make no bargain with you.
I haven't offered one.
You're Asmodeus.
I am aware.
You don't appear unless you want something.
Everyone wants something, Drea. His eyes settled briefly upon her. Some of us are simply more comfortable admitting it. Then he looked toward Aelyah. I can free them. Nobody spoke. Both of them. Arcane's eyes narrowed.
And the portals?
Asmodeus shrugged almost imperceptibly. The words hung over the battlefield. Fanhiel stared at him.
So, freeing them releases the demons.
Yes.
Then why would we do it?
Because if you do not, eventually they die. He gestured toward Kardor. Perhaps tomorrow. Then toward Aelyah. Perhaps next year. Perhaps 10 years from now. He folded his hands. But they will die. His voice remained calm. And when they do, the portals open anyway. Silence. The difference, Asmodeus continued, is whether they are alive when it happens. Gumus looked at Aelyah, still standing, still suffering, still holding. What do you want? Gumus asked. Asmodeus regarded him. Something of equal value. What? I don't know. That surprised everyone, even Gumus. Asmodeus spread his hands slightly. I am offering you an opportunity. Aelyah Silverleaf and Kardor Old Dalgar are extraordinary beings. Their freedom is valuable. His eyes moved across the party. So. He leaned back. Do you possess that might interest me? Drea laughed bitterly.
Nothing.
Perhaps.
We're done.
He turned away. Asmodeus said nothing. Arcane remained facing him.
You expect one of us to offer our soul.
I expect nothing.
You're lying.
No. Asmodeus lifted his wine. I am waiting. Then his eyes met Gumus's, and the world stopped. There was no explosion, no flash of light. Drea simply ceased moving. A strand of hair hung motionless beside her face. A spark of magical energy remained suspended above her fingertips. Arcane stood frozen. Faniel did not breathe. Even the flames had stopped. Gumus turned slowly. What did you do? Very little. Asmodeus was still seated. Only he and Gumus moved. Release them! In a moment, Gumus reached for his sword. Asmodeus sighed. If I wanted you dead, Gumus, you would not require a sword. Then what do you want? To ask you a question. No, Asmodeus nodded. Very well. Gumus hesitated. That was not the response he expected. Asmodeus poured another glass of wine. Do you love her? Gumus went still. His eyes moved toward Drea. Asmodeus did not need to say her name. That is none of your concern. Of course not. Asmodeus studied the wine. But you do. Gumus said nothing. You died for her. I died protecting my friends. Certainly. Something in the tone angered him. Did. I agreed with you. You meant something else. I often find mortals hear more in silence than in words. Gumus stared at him. Asmodeus looked toward Drea. She mourned you. Gumus's expression changed. Asmodeus noticed. She did? Yes. A small warmth rose inside him before he could stop it. Asmodeus continued. Devastated. Gumus looked at Drea. Then why are you telling me? Because you deserve to know. The answer hurt more than Gumus expected. Asmodeus watched him quietly. She loves you, Gumus. Gumus turned sharply. Then Asmodeus finished. Just not the way you love her. The warmth vanished. Gumus looked away. I know. Yes. I've known for years. Yes. She owes me nothing. No. I didn't die so she would love me. I know. Gumus's anger rose. Then stop agreeing with me. Asmodeus smiled faintly. Would you prefer that I lie? Gumus said nothing. You are a just man, Asmodeus said. The words sounded almost insulting. You have spent your life being just. I serve Aelyah. Yes. I believe in him. I know. I would die for him. You already died for someone. Gumus's eyes flashed. Careful. Asmodeus raised one hand. My apologies. Apology somehow made it worse. Gumus looked toward Aelyah. He gave my life purpose. Did he? Gumus turned. Yes. Then why are you angry? I'm not. Asmodeus waited. Gumus clenched his jaw. I'm not. Very well. Silence. It stretched and stretched. I should have been stronger. Asmodeus said nothing. If I had been stronger, the dragon wouldn't have killed me. Silence. If I had been stronger, Drea wouldn't have needed me to die. Still, Asmodeus said nothing. Gumus looked toward Aelyah. If I were stronger now, I could free him. There it was. Asmodeus leaned back. But you cannot. Swallowed. No. And that troubles you. Of course it does. Because you love him? Yes. Only that? Hesitated. Asmodeus watched. Gumus looked at Aelyah. I spent my life serving him. Yes, I was proud of it. Yes, I am proud of it. Asmodeus remained silent. Gumus's voice softened. But sometimes... He stopped. Asmodeus did not help him, did not encourage him, did not smile. That silence was more dangerous than any argument. Gumus continued. Sometimes I wondered what it would have been like. What? To serve someone who could give me more. The words seemed obscene once spoken. Gumus immediately shook his head. Oh. Asmodeus remained silent. That isn't what I meant. I said nothing. I don't want power. Asmodeus looked at him. Gumus corrected himself. I don't want power for myself. Again silence. I want to protect people. Then power would be useful. Gumus looked away. I've seen paladins of great gods. Yes. They walk into a room and everyone knows what they are. Yes. They command respect. Yes. Their gods answer them. Asmodeus's voice became softer. And yours? Gumus looked toward Aelyah. He isn't a god. No. Or claimed to be. No. He never promised me anything. No. Gumus's voice dropped. Almost makes it worse. The words escaped before he could stop them. He closed his eyes. Asmodeus said nothing. Gumus shook his head. I shouldn't have said that. Why? Because it isn't his fault. I agree. Gumus opened his eyes. Again. Agreement. Not temptation. Not accusation. Agreement. Asmodeus stood. He walked toward Gumus, but stopped several feet away. You love Drea? Yes. Will never love you as you love her. Gumus's face tightened. Yes, you are devoted to Aelyah. Yes. He will never be able to make you what the gods make their chosen champions. Gumus said nothing. You have sacrificed for both. Silence. You died for one. Silence. And now you are prepared to sacrifice for both again. Gumus looked at him. What are you trying to do? Asmodeus seemed genuinely puzzled. Nothing. You want something from me? Of course. What? Asmodeus smiled. That is a conversation for another time. The world began to move. Wait. Asmodeus looked at him. Gumus hated himself for saying it. What would you want? Asmodeus studied him. Then he looked toward Drea. Then Aelyah. Finally back to Gumus. Something of equal value. Time returned.
And if you think for one moment that we are giving you anything, you can crawl back into whatever pit vomited you out.
Drea finished the sentence she had begun before time stopped. Asmodeus was seated again, expressionless, stoic. Arcane stepped beside her.
We will find another way.
There is always another way, Drea said.
Fanhael stared at the magical lattice.
We will find it.
Asmodeus lifted his glass. Perhaps. Gumus said nothing. She was furious, beautiful, alive. He looked at Arcane, his friend, then Fanhael, then Aelyah, his purpose, his master. The reason he had become what he was. Finally Kardor. Two beings holding back an ocean of demons. There was no other way. Perhaps there never had been. Gumus understood suddenly that the choice was simple. Terrible, but simple. Asmodeus. Everyone turned. Drea looked at him.
Gumus,
Asmodeus placed his glass down. Yes? Gumus's mouth was dry. You said something of equal value. I did. What about me? Drea stared at him.
No.
Asmodeus did not smile. What about you? My life.
No.
Drea repeated. My service. Arcane stepped toward him.
Gumus.
My soul, if that's what you want. Drea grabbed his arm.
No.
He looked at her. For a moment, the battlefield disappeared. There was only Drea, the woman he loved, the woman who would never love him as he loved her. And somehow, that was all right, or he desperately wanted it to be. He smiled at her. You have to live.
So do you.
I already had another chance.
That doesn't mean you throw it away.
I'm not. Her eyes were wet.
Then what do you call this?
Gumus looked toward Aelyah. Purpose. Drea shook her head.
Please.
That word almost broke him. Please. For one impossible second, he wanted to believe there was something in her voice beyond friendship. Something she had never admitted. Something that could make him stay. But he knew better. He had always known better. Gently removed her hand from his arm. I would do it again. She stared at him. The dragon, he said. I would do it again. Her tears came then. Gumus turned away before they could change his mind. He faced Asmodeus. Free Aelyah and Kardor. Asmodeus rose. And in exchange? Gumus breathed deeply. Me? Silence. Asmodeus approached. He extended his hand. Drea screamed Gumus's name. Arcane moved forward. Faniel began casting. Gumus took Asmodeus's hand. The world vanished.
The End of the Price of Devotion. A Kardor and Aelyah Vignette, Part 1. The End of the Price of Devotion. A Kardor and Aelyah Vignette, Part 1. Look for Part 2 to discover what happens to Gumus with Asmodeus.